So ratios tells us about the characteristics of the business. By comparing the ratios, say over time or say over competitors, you can arrive at a conclusion or understanding on the performance of the company. Say ratio analysis is always relative. PAT margin, say PAT margin is one ratio, which is what? PAT by sales. PAT by sales, if I say that this company PAT by sales or PAT margins is 10%, can you infer anything on that? But if I say that the PAT margin of this company is 10% and the PAT margin of the competitor is say 8%, then can we infer? Yes, we can infer at least to some extent that the profit margin of the company is much better than his competitors. Or if I say that the PAT margin for this company in the year 2014 is 10% and the last year the PAT margin of the company was 12%. So we can infer that the profitability of the company have reduced in 2014 as compared to earlier years. So just as we have given in the example of the report card, is that we have to analyze the report card from some relative perspective. Maybe how the children have progressed over last year, that is over time, or how the children is performing vis-a-vis his peer friends in the class, or we have set a benchmark that he wanted that he should attain A plus in history, but how much he have attained, whether A minus, A plus. So it's like a predetermined our own internal benchmark. And then segments. Similarly, in the company, we analyze the performance of the company with the help of ratio analysis over time, how they have done with respect to their historical financials. Peers, how they have done with the respect of the competitors. Industry, how they have done against the overall average of all the players operating in the industry. Benchmark, maybe the internal benchmark of certain company, and of course the segments, which is more important if a company is operating in various business segments, which is there. So one of the most important thing is analyzing the business. Okay. So in order to analyze the company or the financial statements of the company, it is very, very important to understand the business. As the legendary Warren Buffett have said that analyzing the substance and character of the business is holy grail of investing. We will delve into it. Now, these sessions would be slightly interactive, so I would request all of you, if you have any answers, etc., to reply through a chat window. Okay. Say, there is a small quiz. I want you to guess what is the company, or if you are not able to guess the company name, then at least you can tell me what are the characteristics of this company. Okay. Say, this is a live example that the revenue of the firm is say 27,000 crores. Profit is 357 crores. The asset employed for attaining that revenue is 7,300 crores, and the owner's capital is invested is 2,000 crores. So first we need to see what are the characteristics of these financial statements. See, PAT margin of 1.28%. On the face of it, is it high or low? You can reply your answers by chat. Somebody have said that this is an asset heavy company, might be a manufacturing company. Say if I say the asset turnover in this case is 4.04. Generally I have seen that in manufacturing company, in most of the manufacturing company, the asset turnover is not so high. And also just to reply, in asset or heavy manufacturing company, the margins are slightly higher. Okay. So one of them have said that it's a highly leveraged company. So the leverage is 3.77. Just to give a clarifications, here the leverage is not debt by equity. Here the leverage is my total assets which is employed over my equity. So here the assets would be a functions of my own capital, my loan funds, and also the current assets and liabilities. Okay, so this leverage, do not confuse it with debt equity, where we only say the long term or outside debt by equity. Here in leverage, the working capital, which is current liabilities, is also in this one. And ROE is 20%, which is the average ROE. One of you have said that this might be a consumer durable companies. Okay. You are very close. Actually, it is now somebody of you have said it's a consumer durable companies, and I am saying that you are very close to it. Okay. Just now try to guess this company. I am giving you an example that it is a it has something to do with Apple iPhones. Wipro, no. Wipro Wipro revenues are much higher, and Wipro it is into software service provider, not this one. ITC, no way. ITC does not have. Redington, excellent. This company is Redington. Redington is the supplier and distributors of the smartphones and IT hardware products in India and abroad. The company offers multiple regional supply chain services and cater to the distributions of technology products in India. In fact, they sell or distribute not only iPhones or phones, but also they are the large distributors of, say, iPads, computers, laptop, etc. So I can say that the Redington business is a business of wholesaler and wholesale trading. They do not retail it. They provide, I can say that they may be the forwarding agents, or they may be the exclusive distributors for many of these companies. So their model works more of a wholesale kind of model, and we always know that in wholesale company the margins are very high, but the turnover, the margins are very low, but the turnover are very high. Okay, second example. I think now you are warmed up. Guess this company. The company have a revenue of 10,000 crores, profit of 1200 crores, asset employed of 13,000 crores, and equity of 9,500 crores. So what are the characteristics of business? The characteristics of the business is the margins of 12%, the asset turnover of 1 times, 0.8 times, the leverage of 1.4 and return on equity of 14. So it's very difficult at this point of time to guess what is the company. But can we guess by these numbers what is the characteristics of the company? Somebody says manufacturing companies. Why? Logic. So one of you have answered that this company characteristics is like a okay. Your answers is right that this is asset turnover is low and large equity. So we need to see relative, which is my sales divided by assets. Okay. What all you can say? The leverage of 1.39. What does it mean? It means that the company, being a manufacturing company, is very conservative. That is, they do not borrow much. And this leverage or S is including the current liabilities. Okay. This is, of course, as you have rightly said, is a cement manufacturing company and the name of the company is Ambuja Cement. So here what is the characteristics of the business? The characteristics of the business is that the use of assets is comparatively higher to generate the sales. So asset turnover is low, but being a manufacturing company, the profit margins are higher. And Ambuja being a multinational, they are conservative and do not borrow much from the market. Now, the last one. The firm have a revenue of 10,000 crores, profit of 1600 crores. The asset base is 1,10,000 crores and the equity is 7,000 crores. Can you sense something? Revenues of 10,000 crores and assets of 1 lakh crores. The PAT margin is 16%. The asset turnover is only 0.1x. The leverage is 16 times. And the return on equity, which is average ROE, is 25%. Try to focus on this point. Leverage of 16 times. Somebody have written pharma or IT, but pharma or IT we have seen that they do not have any. This one, railways, very interesting answer. Railway have some characteristics which you have shown, and you are very close. I appreciate your lateral thinking, but railway is not the correct answer. The answer is different. One of you have said railway leverage is not high. Correct. Aviation, very interesting comments. This can be aviations, but generally aviation we have seen that they do not make profit. So in aviation, profit of 25% or ROE of 25% is unheard of. Mining people generally don't employ so much of a leverage. And one more thing, in mining you don't have so much of a asset. Mining, you have a mining lease, okay, but not a asset. For example, Coal India is the largest mining company in the country, but they do not have a this. have a asset. Somebody, Rahul Singhania have said finance company, excellent Rahul. Such kind of leverage of 16 times only happens in a finance company. Because in finance company, they are in the business of borrowing funds and lending funds. So excellent Rahul, it is indeed a finance company. And one thing which I wanted to highlight, that in a finance company or in a bank, the top line which they say is they always say a net interest income less interest expense. So just to see that I am having a 1 lakh crores of assets, okay, and my revenue is 10,000. So what does it mean is roughly they are lending the capital at 10%, okay. So the interest earned is roughly 1/10 of my total asset base. So it is an excellent Rahul. This is a finance company, okay. And since they are into the business of lending and borrowing, their raw material is also capital. So they borrow money from other people and the borrowed money they lend to the customers, okay. And in between what they earn is the spread. The hint, the MD and CEO of the company is the president of Association Yes Bank. So, as we have seen in the last 3 examples, that there is nothing by which we can say that say PAT margins of whether 1% is good or PAT margin of 5% is good or asset turnover of 3 is good or 6 is good. So there is no one size that does fit all. The analysis of each of these has to be done with respect to the underlying business characteristics. As the characteristics of businesses change from one industry to another industry, so our analysis or inference also should be not a single criteria, but it also should be dependent upon the characteristics of the business. Just to give a snapshot, here we are showing 3 companies. One is a Redington, which generally follows a wholesale model. Since they follow the wholesale models, the PAT margins or the margins in wholesale business is very less, but the turnover is very high, and the leverage is also decent of 3.77. So here the low margin is being compensated by high turnover. The other business is a manufacturing company, cement manufacturing company, Ambuja, one of the best managed company in India, where we have seen the margins are decent, but since it's a manufacturing company which employs a large amount of assets relative to sales, so that asset turnover is less, okay. So the low asset turnover is being compensated by high margins, or we can say that wholesale versus retail, both of the model works. Wholesaler makes low margin but high turnover. In retailers, they make less margins but high margins but less turnover, and their capital investment is also large compared to this is. And the third one is a leverage or financial entity, where the turnover and PAT margins are relatively lesser, but they work more on leverage. So what is the ultimate aim of any business? The ultimate aim of any business is what? Just answer. What? Why people do invest in business? Okay. So if I tell you what is the single thing which you want to maximize while doing a business is somebody have written a maximum profit. Say in that sense, say would you invest in the company which have a maximum profit? So there are two companies. One company is a small company and the other one is a large company. Okay, say I give you an example of say a company like an Indian company, a Gati, and the other company is say a UPS. Of course, UPS is very large, so their profit is very large. Can we say that we should invest in UPS? Gati, why? Say, the decisions are always relative. Say somebody have invested 100 rupees and making a 10 rupees profit, and somebody is invested 1000 rupees and making only 25 rupees profit. So which one is better? I am not trying to point about the business, but a simple thing I wanted to ask you is that what is one of the ratio which you would look while taking an investment decision? See, Reliance profit is much larger than a PE, higher NPV. Okay. So higher NPV is what? ROE. Say you are closer. Higher NPV or ROE we should look because it takes into account both what I am getting in and what I am putting in. Okay. So the decision should always be relative, that what am I getting, and in order to get that what actually I need to put in or invest. Okay. That is being given by ROE, which is return on equity. Say in one share or in one investment I put 10 rupees and earn 2 rupees. Okay. So I am making a profit of 20%. But in another I am putting 100 rupees and getting only say I am getting 5 rupees. So in one case I have earned 20% on my investment, although the amount is small of 2 rupees, but in the other case I am earning 5%, although the amount is for 5 is larger than 2. But given a choice, I would like to invest only 10 rupees and get 2. So it is always relative. So how can I maximize my return on equity? So return on equity is what is the profit which I am getting, and for attaining that profit what am I supposed to invest. So one is profit by revenue into, this is just a mathematical jugglery. I can write profit by revenue into revenue by equities, and I can further disintegrate revenue by equity into revenue by asset into this one. For example, I am doing a business, say I am running a shop. How I can increase my profit? First is that I can increase my profit by either increasing my margins on the business, that earlier I was making a profit margin of say 20%, that I am selling goods at 10 rupees and my cost is 8 rupees. So in the process I am earning 20% or 2 rupees per unit of food. I can increase my profit either if I increase my selling price or I am reducing my cost price. So by that I may be able to earn more than 20% return. So if I am able to sell the same goods at 11 rupees, cost being same. So now by selling one unit I am making 3 rupees, or I can sell the same quantity, same unit at 10 rupees, but I can reduce the cost say from 8 to 7.5. So in that case I can maximize my profit per unit of sales, and sales remaining constant I can increase my profit for the shareholders.